So, got 5 rifles to the range today. Well, my non-hunting friends say, well, how many rifles do you need? God, I probably do have too many. But I picked up golf, and it's a pretty good metaphor. You could golf with one club, maybe your 5-iron or something. But man, you'd not have much fun with it. Because you'd always be using something that's not quite fit for what you're trying to do. Try putting with your 5-iron, not the best. You try your 5-iron off your drive, well, you're going to get a lot of air, and you're not going to go very far. So most golfers have about 8-9 clubs. And I think you could make the same argument that if you're really a rifleman and hunt in multiple seasons and get all your food from hunting, having one rifle is almost like trying to play golf with one club. That's my 5-iron. So that's my 30-06 Tikka with a 5-round magazine. I've got 155 grain Bergers here, right there, pointed bullet. That'll go to 500 yards for sheep. And I got my 220 Hornadays, and that'll actually do for bison. It's bison legal. So that's a pretty good all-around gun. But I'll argue that there are places where I'd be better off with something else. For example, if I want to go hiking and hunt sheep or caribou, here's another 30-06. It's got a longer barrel, 24 inches, gives it a little more velocity, and it weighs 3/4 of a pound less. And that 3/4 of a pound means a lot when you're having to carry something all day. So it's two 30-06s, but I can find a use for both of those. When I go moose hunting, I'd much rather have my Tikka because it's got a 5-round clip instead of 3, and it's a little less expensive. So, there's two 30-06s, and I can find a use for both of those. If I want to shoot past 500 yards, here's a rifle that weighs about the same. It's a Fierce carbon wrap barrel 300 Win Mag. It shoots bullet about 300 feet per second faster. And past 500 yards, I'm far better off with this Fierce. It's also a shooting machine with an amazing trigger, carbon stock, very stable, and a great muzzle brake. Means it's fairly easy to shoot. So past 500 yards, this Fierce is a lot better. In the woods, I might want something that's light, fast. Here's a lever gun, or lever gun in the States. This is a Savage 99 and 358. And I like it with open sights, because sometimes when you're shooting really close, those open sights are even better than a scope, if you know how to use them, and I grew up using them. So I'm an open sight fan. So that's faster to get into action. It's faster to get repeat shots. The 358 is a very good caliber for going through bush, and got lots of hitting power, as much hitting power as a 30-06. So for deep woods use, much better firearm. Largely because of those fast repeat shots if you have to get a second shot off. Beautiful firearm. I don't even bring enough firearms to make my argument, because if you're shooting small game, you need a 22 long rifle, rimfire. It shoots a lot less hard, destroys less meat. Not even talking about shotguns. And for bison, I think all these 30 calibers are too light. I like going to at least like 35. I use a 358 Norma, or maybe a 9.3 by 62. So, just like a golfer trying to golf with one club, if you're a multi-season hunter, make it do with one rifle is possible, but it's about like using that 5-iron for everything. When you're on the putting green, you don't want the 5-iron. When you're on the driver, you don't want the 5-iron. So, thanks for watching. Beautiful group. I might not reload for this rifle anymore. That 165 grain Super Performance 165 SST, well under an inch. And that's a fairly hot load. 2960 and 165 grain bullet. And that is really kicking out of there. Okay, so there's a 212 grain Super Performance powder, 2,500 feet per second or so, out of the Tika. That's under an inch. Then there's the 220 grains with reloader 22, shot at the same piece. I've since moved that scope a little bit, so it should now be more close to on. I moved 2 inches over. Maybe I'll modify that a little. It was sighted in for the 220s with 1 grain more powder. And there's the 212 grain with reloader 22 out of the Fierce. So that's under an inch. And that's going about 2,800 feet per second. That's going about 2,500 feet per second. So that's the day.